Hey guys, it's Vinny.
And this is Joe.
We want to do a little episode talking about Team Universe 4 and something interesting that everyone saw this last week after episode 102. And that's as Xeno is going through his God pad there, we see that Team Universe 4, interestingly enough, had two members who were shown on the God pad, and their picture wasn't really there. But they weren't out. They weren't blacked out, but we couldn't see their picture. So the ideas obviously start to flow around on who are these two members. We don't know exactly who they are. We haven't seen them. We don't have too much indication of them. There has been some things that have gone around about Tien said he sent something from that universe when they were introduced, but we didn't see all 10 members. So we wanted to do like a little bit of an episode kind of surrounding what we think might be going on here, and then we wanted to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think about this? About these members? Do we think we're going to see them show up at some point? What's going to happen with it? So, one of the ideas that could possibly be with these members is
That they are microscopic, like that they are so small that we actually can't see them. And actually, if that is true, it might not be that bad of an idea. Pretty much, they're not going to be able to fight, but you are guaranteed two people are going to probably make it to the end.
Yeah, I mean, well, eventually somebody's going to have to find out, who they are, what's going on. Maybe they're inside the fighters' bodies right now, destroying them from the inside, that sort of a deal. Like they're at the atomic level or something.
The Ant-Man.
Yeah,
or
Ant-Man
something.
or whatever it is, or what.
The Atom.
So they're so tiny we can't even see them. I don't know. I think they could be that tiny, but there still should be like a little bit of a picture of them. The pictures don't indicate necessarily how large you are per se. It doesn't mean like, oh, because you're so like. I mean, if somebody was like 25 feet tall, they'd still have a picture, but it wouldn't look like they were 25 feet tall. It'd just be their picture. So microscopic, maybe, maybe not. I probably lean towards this is not the situation with this one. Joe and I think we agree that it's something else. The other idea, though, is that maybe it's not filled. That there was no two team members. That maybe two team members were supposed to show up, and they never showed up, or it wasn't filled somehow. But that doesn't really hold too much weight either, because you would think that they would be blacked out, right?
Correct.
That it wouldn't be there.
Or it wouldn't be shown in some type of way. And to put yourself at a disadvantage like that doesn't really make sense. And even the most weakest people would be fine if they could just find them and use them, I would say.
You think in their entire universe they'd be able to find somebody to fill a slot. So it doesn't really make sense.
And also, I don't know if it was even against the rules to not have all 10 members at like one point. Because, I mean, they told them to find 10 people. So, I mean, to only have 8, I would have been like afraid that would be against the rules almost.
I'm not positive about this, but I think somewhere in the back of my mind that there might have been some narration or some commentary that 80 fighters had arrived. And that I might not be right on that, but I think I remember hearing that. So if you have 8 universes with 10 fighters each, that would be 80 fighters, and I think I remember hearing that, and each universe was really supposed to find 10. So the indications are that these are two fighters who exist, who are on that universe, and their pictures aren't there, and they're probably not microscopic. So that really leads us to what we think, and what obviously others are thinking, is more likely the correct thing that's going on here is that these are fighters who are invisible. That they have some sort of an ability, or they're a race that exists that's invisible. Now, what that invisible means, I don't know. Does it mean that they exist in a different sort of a dimension? Does it mean that they just are invisible, that they have cloaking techniques? I don't think it's a technique that they use, because if it's a technique, their picture would still be there. I think it's just a state that they exist in.
Yeah, and if that is true, it would be pretty tough for any universe maybe to touch them or anything. And it also correlates with Tien saying, I sense a presence. So there is some type of sensing there, which also is a disadvantage for them, I feel, because if somebody can maybe sense them, that means that they could be attacked in some way, because they can feel their presence. Not maybe for everybody, but at least for Tien, he definitely was able to see something.
And if everything pans out like we think it's going to pan out, there's going to be a future episode where you're going to see fighters getting hit and they're not going to know what's hitting them. Like, I think you'll see fighters getting attacked and all of a sudden they're like, what is attacking me? What's hitting me? There's going to be sort of this chaos that's going to happen, and it's going to probably be these two members who are a part of this invisible, cloaked sort of a race that exists. And again, not too big of a deal, I think, for Universe 7, because Universe 7, one of the big things that they've always been able to do is to sense fighters, to sense their... Now, sometimes there's been problems sensing fighters, but I don't know that this will be the case with these two fighters. I think they'll probably be able to sense them, but other universes will probably be completely mystified by it, and we might see an episode where all of a sudden these invisible fighters are really wreaking havoc with hurting and beating up on other members who don't know how to stop them. So we think that's where this is pointing to. I mean, it was really interesting to see it as Zeno was going through his God pad, that there was two people who weren't even shown. So we wanted to give you our ideas on it, our thoughts on it. We would love to hear what you're thinking about it. So when you saw this, what did you think? Do you think maybe there's another idea out there that's not being talked about, that there could be an indication that something else is going here? Do you agree with what we think, that there's sort of an invisible race that exists and two members from that race were included on this universe's team? So please comment below, share your ideas with us. Again, we love reading about them. Please like the video, subscribe to us. We want to keep giving you sort of this interesting perspectives on what we're seeing in Dragon Ball Super. So this has been Vinny.
And this is Joe.
Until next time.